Welcome to Evilive, the live media commentary show that answers the question, what are you actually giving the devil when he needs his due? Subscribe if you're new to the channel, because today we are reviewing What We Do in the Shadows, Season 4, Episode 2, The Lamp. The Lamp.
Yeah.
So what are your initial thoughts on The Lamp?
Oh, man. Like, I mean, shit, we were talking about it with the last one, but the guide, like, her opening up, that shit was fantastic. Didn't see that one coming at all.
I loved those images that they put up, those little illustrations.
Yeah, that's something that I'm really glad they have not stopped doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it seemed like it might become overplayed after the first season or two, but god damn it hasn't gotten annoying at all.
And it dates them historically too, so that's another part that I think is really important, because we always have to be reminded that these are immortal creatures living lives of decadence and fucking nonsense. I mean, really, when it comes down to it. Yeah, my initial thoughts about this episode was like it's a win. This is the just a great follow-up. And this was released back to back with the first one, as we were mentioning earlier, and so it was easy for me to mentally merge them. Because again, the through line story is carried directly from one over to the other. It's just like the first one is setting up, okay, we're back in the house, this is what's going on, and this is just continuing, okay, now how do we pay for things and what's next? And it just gets crazier from here. So this one was directed by Yana Gorskaya, written by Stefani Robinson and Paul Sims, premiered July 12th, also the same day. So let's go to the synopsis. What do you got?
All right, so of course, the first episode, Nandor was talking about going back to his old home. I can never remember what the hell the name is. I just giggle every time he says it.
Or some shit.
Yeah. But apparently when he went back, he was bored because everybody was vampires. And as he explained to Guillermo, it's not, or you can't be fun when, or it can't be fun when you're not the special one anymore. So he was like, fuck this, I'm leaving. But when he came back, he brought a fuck ton of his treasures that just been sitting there since since he left. And it's great because out of nowhere, he has a hidden fucking room and it's just full of shit. Like, everybody's having to figure out how to make money. Laszlo's like threatening to kill people if they sell his projector. And here Nandor is with enough to take care of them for, at least a fucking century or so.
Yeah. And he's got a lamp.
But yeah, and it's funny because he's like, oh, well, this is just enough to impress one woman. This will get me a wife. And and then it's funny because then Guillermo comes down, scares the shit out of him. He's like, how did you get in here? The door was locked. He's like, oh, you got treasure down here? And then going through it, it's just so goddamn funny because, of course, the lamp is found. And Guillermo's like, oh, that looks like a genie lamp. He's like, no, it's a gin lamp. Dumbass. He's like, oh, but yeah, can't you rub it and you get wishes? He's like, that's stupid. That's a story. I've rubbed thousands of lamps. And it's always clockwise. And then Guillermo's like, well, why haven't you, have you done it counterclockwise? Yeah. Well, no. So he does. Then it works. Scares the shit out of him. And then there's a fucking djinn just chilling in the corner.
I love the djinn.
Yeah, he is great.
He's like an accountant. He's just a dude. It's just the greatest ever. He's not like all fucking Aladdin'd out or anything. He's just like a dude. He's like, so, I'm here. What do you need? What do you got?
And he doesn't look like a djinn. You can't say that.
I love that. Just playing on these wonderful tropes of like bigotry and cancel culture and inappropriate language or labeling, which is just where we live nowadays. You always have to be fucking careful about everything you say. I grew up we all did. We grew up in an era where racial epithets were just, and gender and sexual identity references were not necessarily about that gender or sexuality. It was just a way of just ribbing people. And I understand why it is hurtful to those who identify in those ways, but it literally was a culture. And to now be in a time in your same lifetime where you are forced to grow and understand and learn perspective when clearly our parents never had perspective, never gave it. Well, most did, of course, clearly some did. I don't want to project out there, but like my parents didn't give a fuck about stuff like that. You know, they was just like, what? I'm just saying a name, you know?
Yeah.
Like I would be saying, you know, the Twisted Pile of Sticks reference to everyone else, and people would be saying that back to me. And now I understand that it's fucking hurtful, and you know it's linked to harm. But to see all of that wrapped up in just one phrase, you can't say that. I don't know. I thought it was brilliant. And Nandor was
thought it was hilarious.
Dude, I'm a fucking vampire. I just said it. I don't give a fuck. Like, what are you gonna do? You know, this is me. I don't know. I thought that was brilliant. Just a little throwaway line. It just made my day. And then so Anoop Desai, I think I said that right, is the name of the djinn, the actor who plays the djinn from the genie lamp. But he gives him 52 wishes.
Yeah.
What the fuck's with that?
Right? Yeah, what happened to 3? But I would take it. And it's just so funny because it's Nandor, so you know he's just going to fuck it all off. And he does. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it was just ridiculous. And it's all to find the wife. And he's got this portrait of him and his 37 deceased wives. And Guillermo's like, but there's some men. He's like, yes, some wives are women wives and some wives are men wives. What?
Yeah,
What's
just
the big deal?
Yeah, I love that shit. It's just so nonchalant. Like, yeah, obviously, you fucking idiot.
Like, who has just women wives? That's the fucking most outdated, stupid thing. And I'm from an era way back. I think our current sensibilities, even though we're sort of trying as a culture to shift to more acceptance, we are still so blind to the reality of the historical experience. Because just Greek culture alone, there was no thing about gender and sexuality. Like, it was normal to have young boys as sexual partners. And I'm talking fucking kids. Fucked up stuff, but it's historically true. And it's our sensibility.
And if you were in the military, guess who you're fucking? Your bunkmate. It was encouraged because if you love somebody deeply, you're going to fight to fucking keep their ass alive. They're going to do the same to you.
Yeah.
And it's funny too, because even like close to home type of shit, like pre-colonial days of America, like it wasn't a thing. Nobody gave a shit. You did whatever the fuck you wanted. If it felt right, it felt right.
Yeah. I just want to sing Afternoon Delight now. Damn it. I won't find my baby. But I love that because just watching this show makes me remember those facts about our own human experience. And though that is not what this show is about, it's not trying to give a message or anything like that. It's not, at least to me. It's just a reality that we have denied for so long because of Abrahamic religion, even though they're the ones that were engaging in it more than anyone else. And still to this day regionally are, you know, it's our American version of these Abrahamic religions that are really poisoning humanity. And I just love that juxtaposition between the truth historically versus the supposed truth about our bigoted modern time viewpoints of history. And it's just being brought out in this comedy that is just trying to have fun with itself and not trying to make any statement at all. It's the best weapon against ignorance, I think, that there could ever be.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you get shit like what Disney does, where it just beats you over the head with the hammer. Which, as far as I'm concerned, that's detrimental to the cause. And then you get shit like this, where it's like, yeah, that's a thing. It doesn't matter. Let's move on. There's other shit to talk about.
I think it's brilliant. Anyway, so we're talking about the djinn. So Nandor's just like, hey, I need to choose a wife. I had all these wonderful women. I knew one of them was great.
Loved me. Or I loved one of them. Yeah. And then it's great too, because he goes down the list. He's like, oh, well, wasn't it an Angie? Like, no, there's no Angie. Well, it was one with really dark long hair. Okay, there was 6 of them.
Handlebar
or maybe
mustaches.
he had a really good handlebar mustache. Yeah, there was 5 of them. And it just keeps going down the list. And he's like, fuck it, whatever. Bring them all back, and I'll just knock them down.
Yeah.
And then it's our very own, like, Nandor bachelor episode.
There's
It was
the best.
so good.
I wish it would have been a rose. Like he has a rose for you in the other room, because that would have really nailed home that comparison.
I feel like they would have got some copyright pings though for something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, gold coin. Why wouldn't he give you a gold coin? That seems like something weird that he would do.
And Guillermo's trying to rationalize it, like, you're murdering these people. He's like, no, we're not murdering them. They're already dead.
They were already dead.
I just brought them back. So technically undead, but they're dead, and so I just return them to the grave. It's not murdering. He's like, it sounds an awful lot like murdering to me.
Yeah.
I just love that he's our in, the straight man looking at this absurdity, and it's Guillermo, who himself is a murderer of fucking vampires. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, and just the whole process of him going through is so goddamn funny. Like his interactions, especially the one male wife, like that shit was hilarious. Gets his ass kicked. He's like, "Yeah, go get a prize." He wouldn't have let me lose, dude. If he really loved me.
When he wrestled him to the ground and then stood over him and smacked his thighs, his ass, and then did the pose, I was just like, I've got to do that to my wife. I have to do this move somehow without hurting her or getting myself hurt or shot.
Not possible. Not possible. One of those three things will happen.
Yeah, of course. I'll deserve it, and it'll be worth it. So
yeah,
it'll be okay. People get shot all the time and live. Maybe I'll be lucky.
That's true.
Yeah, but what about the guy when he shows him his coffee? He's like, "This is where the magic happens," and he turns around. He's like, "Can I get the gold coin now?" Like, I don't want to go through that coffin thing.
Yeah.
I'd rather just die. It's like they knew what that meant at that point, because clearly people didn't come out of the room again.
Yeah.
And I like there's this wonderful, again, I'm going to use a stupid word, juxtaposition between the great effect of the djinn just touching them and poofing and destroying them, and Colin Robinson's fucking head on that kid's body. It's just so goofy and wrong and unbelievable, and yet they do other effects so brilliantly, which just sort of lends to the silliness, and it just, and that's why I asked the question in the first episode review of, is it on purpose or not? I really think it is on purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, because then it's like everybody's in on the joke type of thing.
Yeah.
Like they're not trying to take it too serious, because, I mean, if you do that in a different way where they like disintegrate, but it's actual like matter versus just like glitter, I mean, that's gory. That's fucking like, they're going to get an M rating on this shit. Like it's, that's some heavy shit. Yeah. So it's when they just go poof, like the thing at the end of Idle Hands. That's funny.
Call back there. Yeah. Okay. So then that's story A. Story B, I don't know. They're both A stories. The next A story is Nadja continuing her desire of creating this nightclub, this vampire nightclub with blood sprinklers, and the guide refusing.
Love the blood sprinklers.
And they're so excited. Like Laszlo's eyes light up when she says that. He's like, yeah, like I need that.
Yeah, just like in Blade.
So what did you think about the Wraiths and the guide just sort of undermining every effort that Nadja and Laszlo are trying to take to, and those poor construction workers?
Oh my God, that shit was so funny. It's just like the original documentary crew, or documentary crew. Why did that come out weird? Where they just keep getting picked off, but it's like, oh, well, I mean, oops, sorry, that happens. It's so great, because especially when Nadia's just like, it's not happening. I'm doing this and I don't care. Well, I'm going to get everything put back together. Well, how are you going to do that? And then, that's going from like this frame coming around. She says that, comes back, and it's just all back to the way it was, because the Wraiths are just like done.
The Wraiths are awesome.
It's just so goddamn funny, because they're putting so much effort in and they're just getting undermined.
In my headcanon, the Wraiths are, in the previous life, are Jawas. Like they were all Jawas once.
I'd say either Jawas or the things from Phantasm, the makeshift Jawas.
I've never seen Phantasm. Yeah. I've always meant to. I've never seen it. Yeah.
The fuck?
I've even seen the Joe Bob Briggs last drive-in fucking Phantasm episode, and I've scrolled past it each time like, I'll catch that another time. Never seen it. Not once.
Holy shit. All right. Well, I know what next movie night is. God.
Yeah.
You be dropping some heavy shit like that.
Sorry.
I don't even know you.
Yeah. That's how I felt earlier when I got on a Nope. And I was like, oh my gosh. And you're like, meh. I was like, who the fuck are you? I thought you would have been down.
So much. I don't know. I got to see it again. I really do.
It's not for everyone. Yeah, I don't want to get sidetracked too much because we've already fucking digressed here.
But yeah. So the race and it all boils down to ultimately, even after the guide accepts that, you know, this is what's better, which is fucking funny because Nadia's like, oh well, you know, the head guy said that it wasn't good anymore, and she's like, oh, wait, was it so and so? Yes, it was him who said that. Oh well, since he said that, I guess we need to do it. So even though she's supposedly on board, the wraiths are still taking everybody out. And that shit was so funny when they had all the wraiths together. She explains what's going on, and then a fucking construction guy comes in, and they're just like, I love that. And all that's left is a hard hat and a vest.
Ugh.
So goddamn funny.
It reminds me of the contractor death conversation about the Star Wars contractors in Clerks, the original Clerks film. It was just like, these are the contractors who are the real victims of the situation. They had nothing to do with it. They were just hired to do a job, trying to do a job, and these wraiths are around killing them, cutting holes out under their ladders.
Beautiful fucking cartoon moments.
It's just like straight up Wile E. Coyote shit.
Yeah,
it was brilliant.
Yeah,
and
it's great too because it clearly looks fake as shit.
Yeah,
but that's what lends like more believability to it almost.
So fucking good. Every time I see that chamber, I want to see that the gathering of all the vampires and their little dance number. Like it's so good, so goddamn good every time I see it. And they've done it like twice. Like they did it once in the they didn't do it in the film. They did it twice in 2 series. I think it was like the first series or maybe the second season and then the third season or something like that. Anyway, each time it's brilliant. I just love seeing it so much. So yeah, she finally agrees, like you said, to do it, but then in her heart,
and that's where it was. Yeah,
so ridiculous. And so this is where we get to see Laszlo shine. He just steps up.
You know, they call it a new medicine, but I was there at the inception.
I love his penis envy reveal. Yeah. He was like, I was taking a steam.
And my towel accidentally fell.
Wink. By accident. Yeah, no, that was it's so fucking great. And he even had a name for his penis that I can't remember right now.
Yeah, I feel like I should have wrote that down. Because it's not penis envy, it's like dong desire or some shit like that, where it's just goofy as hell.
So great. It was Wang something. It's so silly.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's like you have to watch this fucking I've seen it twice and I need to see it again. Like that's how
absolutely
good these episodes are. So he ends up like being the shrink for the guide and trying to get her to, hypnotizes her, walks through these hallways of her mind to find the door, why she's having these hang-ups. And she finally gets to this do not open shame or something like that door.
Yeah, there's the shame door.
And moves on and he's like, whoa. Let's go back to that.
Yeah.
Let's examine that.
Oh, I can't open the door. We'll kick it in. I can't do it.
There's a man.
But what if somebody really strong helps?
Guillermo, but he can't open the handle because the Vaseline is dripping.
Yeah, because he's all greased up. So goddamn good.
I love this so much. It's so fucking good.
Well, and especially because he's hating it. He's thinking it's dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh wait, okay, I see where this is going.
Massive John Thomas. Shauna says in the fucking chat. It was so funny. His name for his penis. Oh, so good. Yeah, so it realizes that she's got a weird fetish for Guillermo for some reason. And then it starts cutting down to the debauchery that she experienced in her past that she hid, which is just like, I want that every day. I want to do that.
Well, and that's how we find out because he's of Van Helsing blood.
and that's what she did because it was so naughty that she was defiling the vampire hunter.
Oh God! And how each one of those really wonderfully rendered illustrations had just enough of her likeness on the face, even though some of them were literally historical. They just sort of came in and replaced stuff.
Yeah,
it was so good. I just love how they do stuff like that so much, and it just made her the most sexy vampire of the episode.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's Laszlo that's the sexiest. There's some scenes where I'm just like, I'd give it a go. Like it might not work, but I'd try. I'd give it an old college try. I was a Boy Scout. I can figure this shit out.
Right? It's acceptable.
I was in multiple troops, and the same theme ran through all of them. So yeah, Laszlo's great. So like every episode, I feel like you get a window into the psyche of a new character, and to get this window into the guide's psyche was just so wonderful and creepy and perverted and wonderful because of that, and it just makes me feel connected to them because I have, I'm sure you do too. I don't want to project, but have those weird, creepy little thoughts running through our heads at all times.
Me? No.
Guys,
I'm as vanilla as they come. You can't see all the BDSM books, right, on my shelf? Okay. No, I think my chair's blocking it.
There it is.
Oh, no, never mind. It's my backpack. Whatever. Yeah, I'm vanilla, so I never have those thoughts.
He has sex through a sheet.
I
like
do.
A Mormon.
Hell yeah. Socks on, lights off, pulling a sheet. And she has to call me brother.
All right, I like that too. So yeah, they find out, and then they have to make a deal. Like Guillermo has to go in to convince her to turn it into a nightclub, and in order, like the exchanges, he wants to be the accountant, which is gonna be a reveal in some future episode. I'm sure we'll get to why he wanted to be the accountant. But even Nadja's like, there's something funny about this. She's like, fuck it, I don't care. Let's do it. It's fine. Like, it's not worth exploring because he's human and he's a familiar and he doesn't count, so nothing bad can happen. And I just want my nightclub.
Yeah.
And so he goes in there and he tries. It's so funny. It's like this set up, rendezvous between the two. This affair, but she doesn't want to, but she wants to, but it's too dirty, so I can't do it. But then I want to do it, but we could be friends, right? And he doesn't want anything to do with anything, but he's just going to do it because he wants to, he wants a little bit of control over his own life.
Well, and the best part about it is just because like one of her things is just the essentially teleportation because she's so goddamn fast.
Oh yeah.
And I love that. He's like, okay, sorry, fine, moving on. And she's over here on the chair, and then she's right here, and it just, God, that never gets old. The whole her somewhere else, and it startles everybody. I love that shit.
Especially when she's doing it with Nadja in future episodes. I love that so much. But yeah, she's so fast, and she's always in your face, like trying to throw down rules or give you, excuses or addendums to comments or statements or situations. Or she's the best. She's the absolute best. I love the guy. But ultimately, she can't do it. He is okay with that, and then they can finally move forward. And I think that's that's it, right?
Well, no, because that's it for that story arc.
Right. So
the episode itself finishes off with Nandor finally picking a wife. It was Marwa, and that shit. And it's so good because he finally picks it, and she's explaining how happy she is, knew that it was right, blah blah blah. And you just see him kind of slink to the back, whispering to Genie, and he's modifying her as she's explaining why she's so honored and shit. It's so goddamn funny.
And I love each time he makes a request, his indecision, it takes a wish. And the Jin's like, this is taking a lot. He's like, it's worth it.
Yeah.
And it just ends up right back to where she was normally. He just burned like 5 wishes for no reason. I just love it. But he had so many of them. Like, who gives a fuck? But
well, and this is one that didn't mention in the first episode, but the shit that like I thought was hilarious was they're speaking his native tongue. He understands it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, well, I wish they all spoke English so that all of us could understand it because there are no subtitles or anything. So it's hilarious.
Yeah. I love that when they're all just yelling at him and following him around. Everyone's just like, let's get out of here. Shit, this is too much.
Oh my God, we didn't talk about the funniest death of a wife. Holy shit. So he's making a romantic dinner, or getting ready to make a romantic dinner, and then he scares one of his wives with the lobster.
Yes!
And
Oh
she
my gosh!
fucking takes off, and it's so great because he's still going after her with the lobster in his hand, fucking with her. And then she finally gets out of the mansion, hops the fence, and gets hit by a fucking semi. And it's like, oh,
It's great.
okay, I was gonna kill her anyways.
She, like, who's that scared of anything? You're gonna jump through a window? That's how scared you are? Like,
Yeah, it's a little excessive.
These primitive peoples, man. She's like a lobster.
Right. So uncivilized.
Yeah.
Just because they've never seen anything like that before, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, cut to us seeing an alien and us doing the exact same thing. Like, oh my gosh! We never change. Humanity never changes. We just become used to shit. I love the inclusion of the Jinn in all of this as this really, he's like the straight man, even though he's a magical creature. He's like our relatable person other than Guillermo, about the absurdity that they're going through. And the next episode is really going to pay that off in a wonderful way. But we'll get to that some other, like next week or something.
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to that. But, okay, so what was your favorite part of this second episode?
Oh shit. So definitely the psychiatric scene.
Yes.
God, it's just so good because Laszlo is so bored out of his fucking mind. The only reason he's there is because he wants to get his fucking jollies.
Yep.
And then when he finally gets it, it's just like, oh, just peps up. It's like, yeah, that's the fucking episode. That's what you expect from him.
I love he's just writing. I say, oh, let's get back to that. And he just keeps writing down her fantasy and shit. Her sordid affairs. That's my favorite too, 100%. It was so awesome. I just love seeing those so much, and the fact they see it so filthy, and they say words like bum.
Yeah,
it's like that's naughty talk in there.
Yeah, era. It's great because they have like a 1920s sensibility.
Yeah,
but they're disgusting, vile creatures.
I think it was last season where the guide. She was with all of them when she was first like coming on to Guillermo, it seemed like, and she was like, and you'll finger my bum, and then he'll have like I'll jerk him off, and like she was trying to talk about doing an orgy with everyone. Was it the orgy episode?
Yeah, it was the orgy.
Did they meet her way back then?
Well, yeah, she was in the beginning.
Was she?
Like, well, yeah, she's well, because when they were gonna get executed,
right? Yes,
she was the one that took them there.
But I just that her. Kirsten Shaw saying she wants a finger in her ass turns me on to no end. I'm just like, I have 10 of them. Let me help. I'll do one at a time. Whatever you want. If you just want the pinky, I'll do the pinky.
Right.
You want a thumb? I got 2. Let's do this. Like, I'll dirty Sanchez if you want it. Like, I'm down. However you want this to play out. Just give me a chance. I'm ready, coach. Put me in the game.
Right.
So awesome. I just love this show so goddamn much. It's so good. It should not be this good. Like, if I reflect back on, like, comedies in my youth or today, nothing touches this.
No.
I can't think of anything that is even close. Like Bob's Burgers to me is the closest, but it's still a mile away. I don't know. Is there any, like, what's your second favorite comedy? Like the series that's on right now?
Fucking Rick and Morty.
Oh, I've never even seen
Rick and Morty is, oh my God. So here's what you do, Adam. You take some medicine and then you watch Rick and Morty and you'll thank me afterwards.
Rick and Morty.
It's Rick and Morty is it was made for fucking stoners.
Yeah.
And I blame that for getting me back into the marijuana, the devil's lettuce.
Into the pot.
Yes.
I've gotten back into the pot.
Yes. I do the marijuanas. But yeah, like even then, I would take this over Rick and Morty any fucking day.
So good. All right. Least favorite. Did you have a least favorite part of this?
No, I've been trying to think since we started the episode of what my least favorite part would be, and I really can't think of one. Like, that's going to be the hard part about reviewing this show, to be honest, is I mean, there's always something that isn't fully likable in the seasons, but like actually being able to nail it down and have a differing opinion from episode to episode, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's just true. I can't think of anything in this episode that I thought that didn't really land for me. You know, if I had to pull something out, I don't even know what I would pull out. Like I thought this was
the problem.
A great episode. Like this is exactly what this show is all about. So how could you, if you like the show, how could you not like the episode? So
yeah,
I don't think there's a bad one. So okay, well then, obvious of all obvious statements, what's your rating for this thing?
It's a 5.
100%.
And I have a very strong feeling that's going to be every single episode because I just can't find anything wrong with this show.
I don't think that's fine. I don't mind that at all. I will be interested if there is one that doesn't land. Like that's what I want. I want to find one, because even then it's still great. You know, even if you're like, no, it's a 3 because, you know, I had a heart attack in the middle of it and you have to have a colostomy bag because I was shot.
Like a double fucking rating. It'd be like a fucking 10 or a 50.
It was so good I almost died.
Yeah, that's, I mean, that best episode ever.
Yeah. I mean, what can you say? It was a great episode. 5 Evil Eyes for me as well. It was just, this is exactly what I want out of this show, and they just keep delivering it. This is the other part of it. We should be sick of this type of a character by now. I remember there are seasons where I'm like, all right, that's just too stupid. Like they're treating these characters more, I'm trying to think of the way to phrase it. They're having the characters be more ignorant than they should be.
Well, that was,
and there has been seasons like that, but not this one.
Last season. Like I think almost every episode, that's what you were talking about, was they're making them more of a caricature of the character versus the character. Because like Laszlo was becoming dumber and dumber, and then ultimately at the end it pays off. Like we understand why he was being so fucking stupid the whole time. And then it's like, God damn it, now I got to rethink how I thought of this entire season. Damn you for getting me. Yeah, so, I mean, there are going to be moments, but we just haven't hit it yet. We have 10 episodes. We've got 8 left. I cannot fucking wait until the next episode. And I can't wait to talk about it with you as well. Is there anything else you wanted to cover on this review here? No, we definitely got it.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, well, thank you all so much for tuning in. Shauna, thanks for tuning in live, whoever you may be, and for answering that dick question.
Mysterious woman.
Yeah. And like it or not, evil spelled backward is live. I'm trying to make that stick, but it doesn't feel like it sticks. No matter how many times
I feel like we should just start singing Danzig songs like that. That'll be the outro.
Right. Mother, tell your children.
And then we get banned.